This meeting is being recorded, and after the meeting, it'll be posted to our YouTube channel. And just for everyone's knowledge, the executive emergency order that allows us to do meetings this way with public input this way expires in the middle of this month. And unless it is renewed, we will be returning to in-person meetings with public attendance allowed.
Okay, thank you. Are there any additions and changes to the agenda?
Yes, earlier this morning, I sent out the financials. They weren't ready when the mailing went out, but I sent them out this morning, and hopefully you all have received them.
Yes. Okay. Approval of the minutes from the February 3rd, 2022. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes? Does anybody have any comments or changes to the minutes?
No.
No? Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Thank you, David. Any further discussion? All in favor for approving the minutes? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved unanimously. Communications and reports, the financial statements that Jim sent to us earlier this morning.
Yep. So I sent them out this morning. We're in really good shape financially, mostly because I'm down several staff members, so that helps. And we didn't really need to rely on the consultants as much as we thought we might for a couple of activities we were able to either take care of ourselves or were found to be unnecessary. So we're going to finish out the year between 5 and 10% in the black, which is a substantial amount of money that will go into our carryover balance that will then be reprogrammed, not in the year starting April, but the following April. So April of 2023, any balance for this year will be reprogrammed then, and it looks like it should be a decent amount. Other than that, there's no substantial odd expenditures, and this is everything on there is routine, no significant consulting expenditures either. Any questions, I'll answer them.
I think I'm good. Anybody have any questions? Right, then we'll move on to the UPWP status report.
Yep, I'll try and give a quick briefing here if I can. Under general administration, we held a policy committee meeting recently that was used to adopt the LRTP amendment for moving the I-81 project forward. Sadly, it didn't do everything we intended to do. I mean, it put the I-81 grid solution on our books, but the fiscal tables that were in it have already become obsolete. And so we need to revise that, and we're going to do that at the upcoming planning and policy committee meetings that are scheduled in April. I believe I sent you all a save the date flyer. You should all be via email. You'll also get one in the postal mail. April 19th and 29th, if memory serves me right, respectively. We're going to have both the LRTP amendment revised, which is basically just a slight upward tick in the dollars spent, and then the tip amendments required for moving phase 1 forward. Those meetings will be in person, and public will be allowed to attend, and they will be off-site, and they're currently scheduled for use in the City Hall Commons atrium, that little glass building attached to City Hall Commons, because it allows a little bit more spacious than our basement in case anyone from the public does want to attend. I assume everyone knows where that is. So. Under public participation, website updates have occurred, and we have a bunch of public notices that are required for the I-81 capital funding efforts and our round 2 of our LRTP amendment updates. So we have to send out a slew of email notifications and hard copy notifications to be in compliance with federal highway. So we have hundreds of those going out in the mail this week to allow to be in compliance with everyone we're supposed to be notifying. Under federal transportation legislation, we're continuing to try and understand the details with the bill program, the BIL program, that is the new infrastructure bill. It's dribbling out really slow, a lot of the guidance and a lot of the information for it. So there's very little I have to share that's new. And I'm hoping to get more clarity on some things. A lot of it is the feds have produced very high level guidance, then the states have to interpret that and push that forward, how the individual states are going to be doing their share, and then that moves down to us. And that is, we've had nothing really move down to us from Albany yet on the items that have gone through so far. Under census data, there is a significant amount of census 2020 data that's out there, but we do not have a lot of the variables that are normally in the census data this time around that would allow us to do a lot of things. There is going to be an American Community Survey data that's going to be launched later this month. So hopefully the combination of the two will be able to do what we need to do in order to do our appropriate socioeconomic and demographic analysis for the upcoming items that require that. For GIS, we've been maintaining our ArcGIS online maps. We printed and delivered to Onondaga County their revised highway maps, both folded and laminated. Hopefully you guys can put them to good use. We retained 1 or 2 boxes for ourselves here in case you guys need extras, or in case anyone else would like to have them, or we'll distribute them if we ever have public meetings again. Under bicycle and pedestrian planning, staff participated in several calls dealing with the City of Syracuse's local waterfront revitalization program. For bridge and pavement, we're working on the complete bridge and pavement report that should be done by the end of the program year, but as an interim product, we delivered to the city a technical memorandum on pavement prioritization. This is the, I want to say, 3rd year we've done that for the City of Syracuse, where we provide them our interpretation of a priority list based on the variables they give us of importance, so that they can figure out which roads they want to prioritize with their limited paving budgets. For I-81, as I mentioned, we're going to be moving that project forward at the upcoming Planning and Policy Committee meetings on the 18th and 29th, which is really it's a landmark event. I mean, we're talking about, at that meeting, we'll be approving $985 million for obligation. That is a huge amount of money for this community, and that is only phase 1. So it's such a large number, it's hard to get your head around when you start thinking about it, but that is a huge investment in our community.
What did you say the number was?
$985 million is what we're going to be moving on in April, which is the cost of phase 1.
Okay.
Again, we have a long-range transportation plan amendment that's going to be going forward as well. That's available on our website, as are the TIP amendments. They're both up there on the website if anyone wants to take a look at them and see the detail behind them. They're all up there right now. For rail, truck, and transit planning, Mario's been working on updating to the coordinated plan, and a transportation service questionnaire is going to be launched in the near future. City of Syracuse on-call services, I mentioned that we've been working with them on pavement prioritization. They also came to us with a couple other minor requests this week, and Megan Vitale is meeting with Neil Burke at the city later today to see if these are things we can assist them with or not. The joint TMC co-location white paper is moving along with hopes of being done around the end of the program year, maybe a little bit into April. The Dome Traffic Management and Event Strategic Plan is nearing the point in its process where we had a planned hiatus. So that's probably going to be paused for a portion of early spring. It'll then pick up, and if everything stays on track with 81 and a record of decision goes into place, that'll probably pick up shortly after that. The Tuscarora Road study was approved by our policy committee in February. The Route 11 corridor study in Mattydale held a significant interactive question and answer session with the community, more than a dozen participants in that. We're working on putting the final report together for that, and that'll happen probably not before the end of the program year, but shortly into the new program year. Same is true with the Manlius Village Center pedestrian safety study. That project is moving along nicely, but it won't be done until probably shortly into the new program year. It's going to carry over a little bit. Part of that is because Danielle Kroll, the project manager for that project, is out on extended leave at the moment, and I had to reassign it to other staff members, so there's a little bit of a re-ramp up in order to make sure that project can stay moving. Village of Skinny Atlas pedestrian study, that is technically almost all done. All that's left to do really is to finalize the actual document and have a final study advisory committee meeting. There's no more public involvement necessary for that. So that'll probably go to the next planning and policy meeting that isn't for I-81. The I-81 meetings are going to be self-contained and have nothing on their agenda other than the 81 items. Syracuse residential parking permit program is moving along nicely. Staff has been participating in various TNT and neighborhood group meetings as an effort to outreach and educate the residents of the city of Syracuse's community about the fact that we're doing a residential parking permit examination. We've had a variety of responses from the residents of the city of Syracuse who support and don't support that venture. So that's up for the city to determine what they would like to do. We'll just provide them with that information. Syracuse Safe Routes to School Guide. The white paper was acknowledged at the last policy committee meeting, and the next phase is going to be started at some point in the new program year, but probably not in the first half of it. For travel demand modeling, there's the SUNY Eval team out of Albany has a great data set that we can utilize, and we've been using it for looking at congested roads in the city of Syracuse. And we're able to roll that into some of the studies that we're doing. Additionally, we've been leveraging the streetlight data that we had limited access to as part of the DOME study that we have. That data is purchased it's leased for a period of time. So we've been trying to get as much as we can out of that leased data set while we have access to it, and that expires very soon. Lastly, under the tip, a lot of amendments. We have some on the agenda for later today. We had a lot at the last meeting. We've had some capital projects committee meeting earlier this week. The biggest issue, I think, is that we still do not have planning targets, so we don't really know what we're planning for the next tip. There's another director's call tomorrow. I cannot be on it, but I have other staff sitting in on it for me. And hopefully there'll be some announcement from the state about when those planning targets are coming, but I'm not holding my breath on that. It's been very quiet. I'll keep everyone posted. As soon as we hear anything, you will hear it immediately. That's a quick update of where we stand with all of our projects. If I missed anything you care about, please ask.
Also, you put out a call letter request for new projects, right? That are due.
That's correct. As part of our TIP planning cycle, we put out a call letter for new projects. That is, those projects are due March 18th. There's a open call for anyone who wants to ask us questions about project eligibility or what needs to go into things. I think it's March 8th. Mario, that's scheduled for. Is my memory right on that?
Yes, March 8th at 1 o'clock.
That'll be a Zoom call, and that's a chance for anyone to ask. We've already had some locals reached out to us who will be participating in that call.
That's not a mandatory meeting.
It's not a mandatory meeting, it's an informational meeting. Not everyone knows the process as well as a few people on the phone call right here.
Okay.
The March 18th deadline, though, is a hard deadline, given everything we're dealing with the state and the deadline for adopting a new TIP. So the project proposals for March 18th, that deadline cannot be extended for anybody. So just so that everyone knows that.
Okay. Any questions on the status report? Nope. Okay. There's no old business, so we'll move into new business, which is our list of TIP amendments.
Yep, we have 7 TIP amendments. Bear with me while I rattle through what we have here. So we have several TIP amendments for your consideration. Overall, there are 2 state projects, 1 city projects, 2 county projects, and 2 town of Cicero projects. In terms of change in cost and schedule, New York State DOT, reconstruction Route 20 I-81 bridge to Lafayette Road, town of Lafayette. DOT is proposing to delay the construction and inspection from 23-24 to 25-26. Scoping, preliminary design, detailed design funds change from NHPP to state dedicated funds. Detailed design advances from 22-23 to 21-22. Additionally, right-of-way incidental and right-of-way acquisitions were added to the 21-22 cycle using state dedicated funds. Compensating offsets for the construction and inspection provided by anticipated planning targets. and I'll underline the anticipated because we don't have any planning targets right now. Project description changes from changes to recon Route 20 I-81 bridge to Lafayette Road, Route 11 rehab from, I can't
Yeah,
even
reference
read.
marker.
Reference marker, thank you. 11-3303. You can read those. There you go. Item, next one, New York State DOT. Bridge replacement, Route 298 over I-90, Town of DeWitt. Sponsorship, New York State DOT. Construction and inspection funds in 23-24 change from SDF to 100% NHFP. Compensating offsets provided from funds outside of the SMTC area.
What is NHFP?
I'll let the state answer that.
Yeah, those are freight funds. Yeah, National Highway, I think it's National Highway Freight Program.
Yes,
That's what it is. And it's outside of planning targets.
and those,
Okay.
we don't have that. They can be programmed inside the NPO, but we cannot select the projects. Item 3, Onondaga County DOT, old Route 5, Warner's Road paving. County is proposing to program additional funds to the construction and inspection phases in 21-22, 48,000 in flex and 200,000 in urban. Compensating offsets provided by PIN 375622. Onondaga County Lake Canalway Trail, Salina Extension. County is proposing to delay the detailed design phase from 21-22 to 23-24 and the construction and inspection phase from 22-23 to 24-25. Compensating offsets provided by anticipated planning targets. City of Syracuse, West Genesee Street Road improvements. City is proposing to add a non-participating share to the construction phase in 21-22 to address sewer and water lines. No offset is necessary since it is not going to be federal funds from that go through SMTC. Number 6, Town of Cicero, the revitalization and redevelopment of the hamlet of Brewerton. I swear this project is on our tip amendments every other month. The town is proposing to address this project and break it into 2 phases. Construction phase from 21-22 reduces to 77,000. It's still a federal earmark, and the inspection phase 21-22 reduces to 16,000 federal earmark. Additionally, a non-participating share is added to the construction and inspection of 137,000 and 29,000 respectively. No offsets are necessary. That is a dedicated fund source, i.e. the equivalent of an earmark. Lastly, the addition of a project. This is the second phase for the Town of Cicero project. Revitalization and redevelopment of the hamlet, utilizing a portion of the earmark, a very small portion, originally associated with the project. The town is proposing to address work right along Route 11 from Guy Young Road to Bennett Road. This project is dramatically underfunded, and that tiny amount of earmark funds is not adequate for that project. They will be applying to the next capital project solicitation that's out right now for approximately $1 million to add on top of their couple $100,000 they got in special funds. I believe it will be quite a challenge for them to be able to secure that money, given the nature of the streetscape improvements for that project and the other competing needs we know that exist around the table. We have made the town aware of that. I guess it's for everyone around the capital projects committee, and then the planning and policy committee decided that is a project that's worth that additional funds. But it is a dramatic increase in funding for a project that was never went through our process for approval. It was an earmark project in the first place, and it has been on the books for well over a decade, probably approaching a decade and a half at this point. Those are the tip amendments. If you have any questions, please direct them to the sponsors.
I guess my question on the additional project for the town of Cicero, if it's a new project and we're doing a call letter for new projects, shouldn't this be held until we determine if, and we know we have a problem with funding in the new tip, should it be held as a new project?
The only funding that's guaranteed for this new project, because it has never been evaluated by the SMTC, is the earmark funding that's being associated with that project. Zero additional funding is guaranteed for that project, and that fact has been made very clear to the town.
So it's not gonna be considered an existing project.
No, because it's never gone through the SMTC evaluation process.
This is Chris Robber. I just wanted to just highlight our project real quick. Letting everyone know, for the most part, the additional funds we need are related to inspection services. When we originally scoped the job, we scoped the job at about 9% of construction just because of budgetary constraints. And with the additional inspection fee, we did have, we had our hands full out there with Barrett Paving with some of their work, and it caused some overtime as well. But at the end of the day, our inspection services will come in right around 15% of construction. So that's the bulk of the ask. Aside from the old Route 5 Warners project, we're moving 248,000 federal to the old Route 5 Warners job. The current offset is from the trail project. It's leaving about 54,000 federal left in the detailed design phase of the trail project. The county sent the SMTC today a request for a tip modification for those funds, the balance being about 54,000 federal, to be moved to the Tuttle Road Bridge project, where we are experiencing a shortfall for our estimate on construction for that project. So that's in process at this point.
And that is small enough that that's being handled as an administrative modification and doesn't require a tip amendment.
Correct.
Okay, any other questions on these tip amendments? I make a motion that we accept or vote on all of these tip amendments as one vote.
Absolutely.
Brian, are you making that motion?
Yep.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Chris Robber.
Thank you, Chris. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving these 7 tip amendments? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries unanimously. We don't have public comment because this is being posted later, is that correct?
It'll be posted about an hour after the meeting on our YouTube channel for the public to watch if they are sufficiently bored and they find this entertaining.
All right. Any other topics for discussion before we?
No, I just want to reiterate the Planning and Policy Committee meetings on April 19th and 29th, and I urge as many of the actual voting members to attend as possible for both the planning and policy, if at all possible. I would. It is probably one of the most significant votes ever to happen around our table, approving basically just shy of $1 billion. So I would encourage people to actually attend that meeting if any way possible, and not send too far down the designee chain.
Will do.
I'll be there.
That's all I got.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Everyone have a
everybody.
good afternoon.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.